You're tuned to The Drive on your 24/7 home of the black and gold. Steelers Nation Radio.
Good afternoon, Steeler Nation. It's The Drive on the Steelers Audio Network. Wes Uhler and Matt Williamson with you here for the next 2 hours on this Thursday, where Matt, list season rolls along, and we continue to get a little bit closer to training camp.
Yeah, and it's summer. You know, it feels like summer. We had some vacations on the horizon. I think a lot of people were traveling and all that good stuff. And camp's not that far, dude.
It's not.
It really isn't.
It's really not. I dropped off my daughters at daycare at school this morning, right?
Yeah.
And my oldest, Olivia, was like, Dad, there's only like 3 people in my class this week so far. And I'm like, sweetheart, it's vacation season.
Yeah, a lot of people were at the beach or whatever. Yeah.
It's that time of year. You gotta get it while you can. And July, certainly post July 4th, very popular vacation time. Matt and I will be taking some time off between now and training camp, but we'll get to all of that when it's pertinent. Matt, we will continue doing some list season stuff today. Jeremy Fowler has another list out that we'll get to. We might even do some World Cup of best NFL quarterback ever here,
right.
I think is where we go today. But I wanted to start with you. Bill Barnwell of ESPN.
Yeah, I saw this, but I didn't
Did you
dig
see
in.
this?
Yeah.
He put basically how Super Bowl, let me read the title so I get it right, how Super Bowl level NFL rosters are built at each position.
Okay.
He took the last 30 teams that have been in the Super Bowl. So the last 15 Super Bowls, 2 teams each.
Oh, okay, both teams. Okay,
Yes,
not just the winners.
The last 30 teams that have played for a Super Bowl over the last 15 years, and basically broke down how they acquired their roster at each position. So this isn't necessary. When I saw the headline, I thought it was going to be like, okay, well, you need this level of a quarterback. You need this level
That's
of
what
a
I thought,
left,
too.
You need this level of a defensive line.
Yeah.
It's more so about how you assemble your roster than exactly what is needed to likely make you a Super
I thought it was
Bowl
going to be like you need 2 pass rushers, you need a playmaker, you need to average
quarterback who's at least a B plus.
Yeah.
That's what I thought it was going to be as well.
So this
when
is
I
more
clicked on
like
it.
team building or like where they were drafted or how they were acquired, that kind of stuff.
And I don't think we
That's
need to.
cool.
I don't think we need to go through every single position and here's how many wide receivers were drafted and here's how many were. But I did find those numbers on the quarterback position, especially as here in Steelerland, we're trying to find our next franchise long-term quarterback. I found some of the quarterback stuff very interesting. So again, last 15 Super Bowls, 30 teams in total. Of those 30 teams that have gone to the last 15 Super Bowls, 24 of the 30 were with a quarterback that they drafted. Okay?
That they drafted.
Yes.
Okay.
24 of the 30 quarterbacks were drafted by that team. Of those 24, 12 were high first-round draft picks, so top half of the first round.
I assume you count like Mahomes twice.
That's an interest. I would think so. Yes, I think
if you
you're
get to 30, you have to.
To get to 30, you have to. You're right. So 12 high first-round draft picks, 1 mid-round first-round draft pick, 5 day 2 picks, and 6 day 3 picks.
6 day 3 picks shocks me a little bit.
A couple of those, Russell Wilson.
Brady.
And Brady.
Brady's
I
like
guess
5 of
Brady's
them.
technically a day 2. You're right.
He's a day 3.
Sorry, Russell Wilson is technically a day 2.
Wilson's a 2. Brady's probably all of them.
He might be. He probably is. You're right.
Yeah, exactly right.
Yeah.
Just draft Brady at 199th overall, and you can do that.
Oh, that is.
We should have known that off the bat. Yeah.
You're right. We should.
He's going to screw everything up.
I should have known that. Also, Brady was 5 of those 6. Do you know who the other one was?
Purdy.
Or 4 of those 6. Purdy was 2 of them.
Purdy was 2 of them. Okay. Yep. Yeah.
Because he's been to 2 Super Bowls.
And they're late day 3s.
They are very late
Yeah,
day
they're
3s.
not.
Purdy was Mr. Irrelevant. He was quite literally the latest you can be drafted. 4 of the 5 day 2 appearances were from Russell Wilson and Jalen Hurts.
Okay.
Could you guess who the other one was? I don't know if I would have gotten that.
Garoppolo?
I would. It's a good one, but no. Because he was acquired via trade.
Oh.
Now, technically, you're right.
Yeah,
but
he
in
was
terms
a
of how
day
they
2
acquired
player.
him, was Colin Kaepernick actually was the other one.
Yeah.
Man, that would have taken me some time to find out.
Yeah, that would have taken me some time
go back
too.
through who was each quarterback in the last 15 Super Bowls. So, So that's kind of how the 24 of the 30 draft picks played out. 12 high first-round picks, 1 in the mid-first round, 5 day 2, 6 day 3, with obviously a very heavy presence by Tom Brady there at the end. And then, Matt, 2 were acquired by trade, being Matthew Stafford and Jimmy Garoppolo.
Okay. I forgot Garoppolo was traded.
And yes, Garoppolo was traded. And so that brings us to 26 out of the 30 quarterbacks. The remaining 4 were acquired via free agency.
Darnold
would be one. I was trying to think. That's another one that I was trying to kind of rack my brain on here. I know Darnold would be one. Nick Foles would be one.
Good one. He doesn't tell you who they are.
He doesn't say the 4 for that position.
I'm sure he could figure it out, but
I'm sure. Yeah. But I know Darnold. Darnold would be one. Know that Nick Foles would be one. We'd have to start racking our brains and going back year by year. But what I got from that, Matt, is that basically of the last 30 quarterbacks that have been to a Super Bowl, 13 of them were drafted very highly.
Yes.
And acquired by their team, drafted very highly, because you'd put Matt Stafford into that conversation too. You'd put Darnold into that conversation too. So really, it's basically half. It's basically half of the quarterbacks that have gone to the Super Bowl have been first-round draft picks,
and usually early.
And most of them first half of the draft, first-round picks.
Totally adds up.
Not surprising.
Yeah, it really isn't. I mean, I've said this before, and it's very Pickett related. If you look at the quarterbacks drafted from like 20 overall to 50 overall, it's a really bad hit rate.
It is.
Like, that's bad for
like Aaron Rodgers,
Lamar.
And Lamar. That's about it.
And Hurts, kind of,
Yeah.
I mean, I'm not sure he's at that level, but you know what I mean? Like, if you're a late first, it usually doesn't go well. Like, that doesn't bode well for, like, Jackson Dart.
Yes.
The history shows that guys drafted in that area haven't hit.
It was the kind of the Kenny Pickett area.
Right. Like, if you were good enough, you're already gone to a bad team.
Sure.
Right. There's definitely a bad team that needed a quarterback before 20th pick.
The Johnny Manziel area there and all that. So that was kind of what stood out to me really about the quarterback position.
Does he do every position or just like key position?
He does do every single position.
Wow.
And again, I don't know if we need to run through like how.
I'm just curious about running back.
I was surprised. 18 of the 30 were drafted.
Okay.
1 high first-round pick, 2 mid-first-round picks, 2 late first-round picks, 6 day 2 picks, which makes a ton of sense.
Yeah.
6 day 3 picks, and 1 UDFA. 4 acquired via trade, 8 acquired via free agency.
That's kind of what I thought. I mean, I don't think you need to spend an early pick in that position to go to the Super Bowl.
No. And I wonder...
that kind of backs it up pretty well.
Let's graze through this. So 18 of 30 were drafted by their team. I wonder if that's the lowest percentage,
of any position.
Of any, I guess kind of, of any position. Wide receiver, let's see, it was 20 of 30.
As he gets calling like wide receiver 1, like your best wide receiver?
He has actually, I'm glad you said that. He has lead wide receiver and second wide receiver.
Oh, okay.
So second wide receiver is a little different, but lead wide receiver, 20 of the 30 were drafted by their own team. Second,
I would think that's a pretty high rate, yeah.
Second, 12 of the 30 were drafted by their team.
They come and go.
17 were free agent acquisitions, which again, they come and go. That makes a lot of sense.
You can always get one on the market.
Yes. Tight ends, 23 of the 30 were drafted by the team that they went there with. 1 high first-round pick.
That actually doesn't shock me, because if you get like a Kelsey, you don't let him go.
You hold on to him.
A Kittle, Gronk.
1 high first-round pick, 13 day 2 picks, 9 day 3 picks.
That's interesting and not surprising when you lay it out like that. Yeah.
You can find some really good tight ends outside of the first round. Left tackle, Matt, 19 of the 30 with the teams that drafted them, 7 of them being high first-round picks, 3 of them being mid-first-round picks, 3 of them being late first-round picks.
You got to get your left tackle in the first round, folks.
You got to go shopping at the luxury store.
Yeah,
you can't get those in the bargain bin.
I mean, how many times do we talk about taking for the Steelers this year? We knew they needed a receiver. We knew they needed a tackle. I was very much on board with tackle first.
Yeah.
I just think that's where they come from.
Right tackle, pretty similar. 20 of the 30 were drafted by their own team. 4 high first-round picks, 3 mid-first-round picks, 8 day 2 picks out of that group for right tackle.
Okay.
Let's see here. Guard,
I'm sure there's very few first-round guards and centers.
Yes. That's kind of the thing there. Centers, 19 of them still with their team out of 30 there.
I can see a high percentage being drafted. I just don't think they'll be drafted high.
Yes. No, it's 7 day 2 picks, 5 day 3 picks, 7 UDFAs.
Okay.
7 UDFAs.
Wow.
Matt,
there must be somebody good that's is Kelsey a UDFA?
No, he was like a 6th.
He was a 7th
he was like
or
a
6th or something. Yeah.
Kelsey was a 6th round pick.
Okay.
Yes. Let's see here. Was it? No, wouldn't have been Alex Mack. Wouldn't have been Ryan Jensen.
No. I'm thinking like one of the Patriot guys, Andrews or somebody like that. Somebody that went a lot, that gets a lot of gets a lot of those tallies.
Guard,
even like the Chiefs didn't have. I mean, that was not an undrafted, right?
Yeah, 2nd round pick.
I'm talking about a team that went often.
Guard now out of 60, right? Because it's 2
Makes
positions.
Sense.
39 out of 60 were drafted
by their original team.
By their original team. 2 mid first rounders, 3 late first rounders, 15 on day 2, 14 on day 3.
Guards on day 2 is historically where you get really high quality starters.
Yes, you do. Right.
And you don't want to pick up the 5th. You don't want to deal with the 5th year option nonsense.
Exactly right. It makes a lot of sense. It's like it's the Linderbaum thing that we
exactly.
That's
a dilemma.
For edge rushers, Matt, he breaks it down into same thing. Lead edge rusher, second.
I bet this is heavy on first rounders.
18 out of 30 were drafted by their team in terms of the lead guys. 7 of them high first rounders, 2 of them mid first rounders, 4 of them late first rounders.
I would have thought even higher percentage.
I would have thought even higher, but that's.
But if you look at the great edge rushers,
a
lot of them have changed teams, which is kind of shocking considering how valuable the position is.
5 of them via trade. Yeah.
Okay.
And that would include,
a lot of guys
the Von Millers of the world.
Yeah.
And so an interesting one there, certainly.
It's funny, like if we put up Fowler's edge rusher list, I bet 60% of them have been traded.
Yeah.
Yeah, now Myles Garrett, now Micah Parsons.
It's true.
The top 2, right?
It's true.
And even if, I know it's cheating, but the Texans traded to get Will Anderson. They did not have the 3rd pick.
That's true, though. You're right. They moved up to go get him. Great call by you. Lead defensive tackle, Matt, 24 of the 30 drafted by their team. That's another one of those I feel like.
Yeah, I don't think you let them go.
You get those guys in the middle of your line.
Yeah.
That fit what you're trying to do. And
you draft Chris Jones in the 1st round, and you don't let him go anywhere,
Exactly.
Actually,
right.
He might have been a 2nd round.
Unless it's like a Milton Williams who just prices him, comes
you
from
too many of them.
You have too many of them and prices himself out. Off-ball linebackers, 60 here again for 2 positions. 42 of the 60 drafted by their team. I guess that makes sense too, because that's one of those. There's a shortage.
If you're a leader,
there
if you like running the defense, you're the leader, the green dot guy. You know.
And like
I bet they're not high picks.
The Zach Bonds of the world seem less.
That
less
was
often.
an anomaly.
Only 3 of those 42 off-ball linebackers were high first-round picks. 2 mid-first round, 5 late first round. So that's 5. That's 10 out of 42 were first-round picks. That's it.
Okay. Wow. And it's probably somebody, a repeat offender several times.
Cornerback, it's about 50% as well, Matt. 29 of the 60.
I bet these are pretty high picks.
Accounting for 2. 29 of the 60, so just about half were drafted by their original team. 1 high first-round pick, 2 mid-first-round picks, 6 late first-round picks.
I would have thought that's even higher.
So that kind of late first round, though. That's where Gonzalez went, right? And that's where
McDuffie.
Yeah. I guess Quinyon Mitchell and some of those guys. 10 acquired via trade, 19 via free agency, such as Stephon Gilmore, Darrelle Revis.
Oh, some big names, yeah.
Darius Slay when he was with the Eagles, Jalen Ramsey when he was with the Rams. So those guys are kind of not quite wide receivers, but pretty close. There's a lot of movement there.
There is a lot of movement.
But you gotta draft them pretty highly. The
top guys go early.
The top guys go early. Safety, 32 of the 60, so a little over half. 3 were mid first round picks, 7 were late first round picks, 13 day 2 picks.
Not surprising.
And unless you're going to get Caleb Downs, that's kind of the sweet spot for safeties. And so, Matt, to kind of close this down, he put 4 takeaways from doing this exercise. What did I learn from doing this, from crunching all these numbers and putting together this picture? Number 1, the 2025 season was very weird. The Patriots and Seahawks were built in ways that I'm not sure other teams have tried or will try to emulate. The Patriots found 10 of their 20 starters in free agency, tying them with the 2015 Broncos for the most of any team over the past 15 seasons.
So it's only 1 year, but I think you immediately have to say, is it the beginning of a trend, or did they just do it differently?
Absolutely.
And,
is it an exception to the rule?
Yeah.
Or is this one of those, as we know, the game changes and evolves and adapts?
Because we've heard a lot lately of, it used to be superstar quarterback wins Super Bowl. Last 2 years hasn't been.
No.
And even Mahomes' last win.
It was the better quarterback lost each of the last 2 Super Bowls.
Yeah.
In terms of what they did in the regular season.
So even the last 3 winners, you include the Chiefs in there. Yes, they had a superstar quarterback, but their offense was only like 15th in DVOA that year. The defense was better than the offense.
Defense was
of that
really
Chiefs
good
team.
that
Yeah.
year. His second takeaway, drafting and development is essential. I think that doesn't surprise anybody. We know that as football fans. No matter what the position is, you got to draft well. You got to retain talent and develop talent.
And that makes me happy because I would hate if this league turns into baseball where I can just go buy a team.
I completely agree.
Yeah.
Take number 3. Yes, the LA Rams are outliers, but not as much as you think. They make several aggressive trades, but they also have a lot of guys on that roster that they drafted and developed.
Yeah, there's no first rounders.
Just no first rounders.
Yeah.
They've hit on a lot of day 2 and day 3 picks.
Tons. Puka, right.
Yep, and then final takeaway from this exercise was each team builds through only a handful of high-profile moves. Whether it's top draft picks, high-profile trades, high-end free agents, like your highest profile moves, you only get a couple of those.
Oh yeah,
you get what I'm
There's
saying? Where it's
3 times you push your chips in the middle.
Yes,
you got to hit them all.
It's so often swinging for the big trade or the big first round draft pick is what you get judged upon.
Mm-hmm.
But in reality, what you do on day 2 and day 3 of the draft and what you do in free agency is just as important as your high profile.
That's
moves.
the nuts and bolts, the meats and potatoes. Yeah. That makes sense.
It certainly does. So
because the Niners, they're the weirdest one because they fell into Purdy, but they pushed all their chips in for Trey Lance. That would have crippled an organization like the Browns.
Great example.
Yeah, and they somehow got over it, which is nuts.
Still going to the playoffs.
Yeah.
You're right. That's a very good call by you, an example by you. Let's take our first break. We'll continue. We've got another Jeremy Fowler list to get to here as we roll along.
Speaking of which, all I did was see the bottom, the honorable mentions, and I'm going to have problems with this list.
People are going to be a little upset by this list, myself and Matt included. We'll get to that when we return. It's The Drive, Steelers Nation Radio on the Steelers Audio Network. Back on The Drive here as we roll along, and we're laughing, we're having some fun as we always do. But Matt, when we get into I say the Jeremy Fowler list, but I need to be careful.
He's just compiling.
I don't want people coming after Jeremy Fowler. This is not just his opinions. He is compiling it, and I think it's kind of what makes it a little more upsetting from executives and scouts and GMs across the league on the best defensive tackles heading into the 2026 season from what we saw last year. And Matt, I don't think we need to bury the lead here. We both did the same thing today. This article comes out. We look at it. All right, where's Cam Hayward? All right, you're scrolling down. Wow, still no Cam Hayward.
Yeah.
He's not even in the top 10.
Which is nuts to me.
He was just an all-pro last year.
He's playing better than ever.
What are we doing?
We did John Ledyard's defensive tackle list earlier this week. He had him second, which might be a smidge ambitious, but I think top 5 is a lock.
He's closer to second than he is outside of the top 10.
Right. Honorable mention, or we'll throw his name out there. That's insane to me.
Just absolutely insane, because if you've been following along with this exercise the last couple weeks, there's 10 guys that get ranked, and then there's a couple honorable mentions that were close, and then there's just also receiving votes.
Yeah.
Cam Hayward wasn't even in the honorable mention category. He was in the also receiving votes. So that means at best he was ranked 14th. At best he was ranked 14th.
Okay.
That's insane. I don't care.
That's
Black and gold
to me.
Glasses. I know the network that we're on.
Right.
That's nuts to me.
That's nuts. This could be Ravens Nation radio, and I'd be saying the exact same thing. That's crazy to me. I'm trying to think why. executives or front office people would think that. And originally I just thought, maybe because of his age, they just think he's declining if they haven't paid a ton of attention lately.
But Bosa,
then you're not doing your job.
Nick Bosa was still 5th on edge rushers last year, and he played 3 games last year.
Yeah.
So don't tell me it's as much about that. Like, you know what I mean? The disconnect there is
so
annoying.
The other thing, and I'm really making excuses here, but at some point in his career, or for much of his career, he was considered a, quote, defensive end.
That was one thing that crossed my mind, too, was did some people vote for him differently?
Yeah,
in a different position. They looked at defensive tackle, and they said, Cam's not a defensive tackle.
The only defensive tackles on the Steelers are noses then. But that's not where he aligns. He aligns over the guard a high percentage of the time. He's never outside the tackle.
It's the same outside linebacker versus edge rusher conversation that you were having yesterday. It's time to adapt and evolve.
We know where these people align. And they're nickel all the time anyway.
So Cam Hayward was in the also receiving votes with Kobe Turner, Kenny Clark, Diggy Zua.
Okay. Those are all good players. And Kobe Turner is one of my favorite under-the-radar, doesn't get enough credit dudes. But Cam's in a different class than all those guys. Yeah.
And I think he's in a different class than these 3 honorable mentions. The guy whose name I always butcher and everybody in the YouTube comments knows, Vita Vea.
I let it slide the other day, but yeah.
DeForest
He
Buckner.
should be in the top 10 too, by the way. Vea is a monster.
He should be. Oh, real quick, I meant to say this at the start of the segment. Our resident statistician TV, Tom Brady also counted as one of those free agent quarterbacks.
Oh, for the Bucs.
And so did Peyton Manning.
That's good thinking. Right.
TV, crunching the numbers for us. DeForest Buckner and Byron Murphy. Those are the 3 honorable mentions.
I said the other day, I think Murphy's maybe going to be number 1 on this list a year from now. Maybe I think the world's a little slow keeping up, but all those guys probably have strong cases for the top 10.
So let's get into it and see how it all shakes out here.
10-1?
10-1. Number 10, Jordan Davis of the Philadelphia Eagles. The highest ranking he got in the voting process was 5. Last year he was unranked. And Matt, as we've kind of talked about, I mean, he might not be the talent of Carter, but he's been the more productive player for Philadelphia.
Yeah, and they just invested in him. All those 3 honorable mentions or just missed or whatever I would have ahead of Davis. But Davis took a big step forward this past year, particularly as a pass rusher, every down guy. He's not just a monster in the middle. He's playing more snaps too. So his trajectory is going the right direction.
He strikes me as the Cam Hayward type guy that might have his best seasons in his 30s.
Yeah, maybe. I bet his game doesn't fade away slow.
It's like he's just so consistent, man.
Every
year he gets a little bit better. Every year he gets a little bit stronger. And there's just some Cam Hayward.
Learn some tricks.
Some Cam Hayward vibes there. Number 9, Milton Williams of the New England Patriots.
I'm cool with that.
Former Philadelphia Eagle. He was ranked as high as 5. Last year he was unranked. He's 27 years old.
In his prime, making big money.
He's a top 10 guy.
Yeah. I mean, he's an impact interior pass rusher in particular, but he can play the run too. Super talented. Was a project coming out of school, and that's why projects hit. He
was a third round pick, right?
I think he was a 3rd.
Number 8, Matt, is Zach Allen of the Denver Broncos. He came in as high as 3 on this list in some votes. Last year, he was an honorable mention. He is now 28 years old.
Another one of the more unheralded players in the league that is really, really disruptive, really difficult to play against. I got no problem with that. Again, that threesome that just missed and Cam, I think have better cases than these guys at the bottom, but I'm not knocking the guys at the bottom here at all.
Number 7, new in the AFC North, it's Dexter Lawrence II. Last year, Matt, he was number 1 on this list. He falls to 7 after a little bit of an injury-riddled campaign.
Yeah.
He did get received votes as high as number 3 on this list. He is now 28 years old.
And last year wasn't as good as the past few, but I mentioned this the other day. His still on-off splits with the Giants were remarkable. And the ones I'm referring to are only against the pass. And you would think of him just as a monster run plugger, which he does fine.
Sure.
There was also a lot of dysfunction with the Giants last year. And I'm not saying he didn't care, but at some point you kind of make business decisions too. Like, what am I really doing here,
He got double-teamed 71.5% of the time last year, league high.
Is that the most? Yeah.
League high for players with over 300 snaps.
Okay.
Number 6, Quinnen Williams of the Dallas Cowboys. After the trade from the Jets last year, he came in as high as number 3.
That seems low, yeah.
On
6.
this list, He was number 5 last year, Matt, so slides down a spot here. He's 28 years old as well.
Another guy in his prime, big-time impact player. I think he's kind of top 3-ish, more than 6. But, all right, these other guys I'm sure are good.
Number 5 is Derek Brown of the Carolina Panthers. He actually got a first-place vote in this exercise.
Really?
Last year, he was an honorable mention. He's also 28 years old. Yeah, I really like Derek Brown.
Yeah.
5th overall might be a little rich for me, but I think he certainly belongs on this list.
It was one of my very, very few complaints with John's list was I thought Brown was a little low, and he had him like in the mid-teens, I think. I mean, he didn't ding him too bad. And he cited he's not an impact pass rusher, which I totally agree with, and that's more important. But he still impacts the passing game. He pushes the pocket. He draws 2 blockers. I mean, you're still happy he's out there on 3rd and 6.
I'm not sure if I've shared this story with you before, but and I'm sure you and Dale were the same way in the 8 years that Moats and I did a show together.
Yeah,
we had a couple times where we really had some debates about draft prospects or this guy or that guy type. Like one was, I remember when we first started doing the show together in 2018, and that was coming off the Eagles Super Bowl. We had a big Carson Wentz versus Dak Prescott debate, and he was like, I would take Dak. I was like, Carson Wentz was the MVP last year until he tore his ACL. What are you talking about? And it turned into like a whole long thing, and Moats was very right about that, and he reminds me all the time about Dak over Carson Wentz.
But there was definitely a debate at that day.
Time.
Right.
Sure.
Wentz was on fire at that point.
Moats did not like Derek Brown at all coming out of Auburn.
Really?
He was like, I just think he's the old guy beating up on young guys. He was one of those like 6th-year seniors before that was a thing. And so sometimes
he's like grown man strength just thrown around weaker people.
Like once a year, there'll be like a Twitter highlight, the NFL puts of Derek Brown like blowing up a snap, and I'll send it to Moats and be like, told you so.
He's all right.
And he's like, even a blind squirrel finds a nut every once in a while. Derek Brown checks in at 5. Number 4 on this list is Chris Jones. Matt, he also got some first-place votes.
I bet.
Last year he was number 2. On this list. He falls a couple spots to 4. He is 32 years old now and not the, defensive player of the year type.
He picks and chooses a little more now,
He takes some,
he kind of always has.
Take some snaps off, but man, he can still win at the line of scrimmage and is still outstanding.
3rd and 8 with the Super Bowl on the line, I think he's still my pick. Even over Cam and to get to the passer.
Yeah. Number 3, Matt, this is crazy. He's really high. Jalen Carter checks in.
I was wondering.
At number 3.
There's a lot of inconsistencies, and you can definitely excuse some of his poorer play last year with 2 bad shoulder injuries.
And I get that. I do.
But he could and should be one in some instances.
He's only 25 years old.
Yeah.
He was number 3 on this list last year, so he's number 3 again. His highest receiving votes were 2nd place. His lowest were 9th place. So he was
top 10.
Everybody had him top 10 on their ballot. And he's one of those.
They just recognize the talent.
The talent's unbelievable. It's unbelievable. If he can stay healthy and put it all together, he can be a force.
Again, he could win Defensive Player of the Year type guy.
So he could be a future Hall of Famer. Number 2 is Jeffrey Simmons of the Tennessee Titans.
I agreed with John that he should be 1.
Ledgered when we did that last week. He did get first place votes, obviously. He was ranked no lower than 8th.
Okay.
Was 4th on this list last year, moves up to 2 this year. He is 28 years old.
And I don't really see holes in his game.
I don't either.
Yeah.
He's just so well-rounded. Got a 3-year, $105 million extension after being a first-team All-Pro this offseason.
Yeah. I mean, I'm sure some people haven't watched a ton of Titans in the last year.
I don't blame you.
Which I totally get.
I don't blame you.
I think they're the only team that doesn't have a primetime game this year. And, so he could easily go under the radar.
He not only gets after the quarterback with 11 sacks from the interior, Matt, but 17 TFLs, 3 forced fumbles, 21 quarterback hits.
Wow. I don't know what his double team rate is, but it has to be high.
More than 65% of the time.
Really?
Yeah.
It has to be really high.
Which is towards the top of the league. He won 20 pass rush snaps against double teams via next-gen stats.
Okay.
So that's a little over 1 per game. He's getting double teamed on a 3rd and 8 and is still getting home.
Huh.
It's impressive. Number 1, though, Matt, is Leonard Williams. Checks in at number 1. He was 6 on this list last year. His lowest ranking was 8, so all the 70-plus voters had him in the top 8. At 32 years old, he might be a fraction of a step slower and not quite as strong, but man, he is still outstanding. I don't know if he would be number 1 on my list, but I don't think it's some joke that he is number 1.
No, I mean, there's 5 names I'd probably put ahead of him, and maybe even his teammate Murphy, who's go in different directions in their careers, obviously. But he's had a phenomenal career. He's still athletic. They move him all over. I'm sure winning the Super Bowl didn't hurt his cause either. I mean, he's a pivotal player on one of the top 2 defenses in the league. I have a slim problem with it, but I get it too. And I like recognizing some of these dudes, kind of like Cam, that have been doing it a really long time,
Absolutely. There is a bit of a lifetime achievement thing there. There is a little bit of a he's just coming off a Super Bowl and an outstanding defense.
He's shining on the tip of your tongue,
Certainly belongs on this list.
Mm-hmm.
And, that tandem for the Seattle Seahawks is going to cause a lot of problems for people again in 2026.
Yeah, you could get 2. I mean, that's a huge cheat code in the league right now.
It really is.
Yeah.
That's how the Eagles have had so much success.
Yeah.
Because before Davis and Carter, it was Fletcher Cox and Milton Williams. You know what I mean?
Like they always have somebody,
they
right?
always have somebody there. The Chiefs were the same way for a while.
I mean, Cam and Tuitt were that guy for a while, right?
Yep. Well, you got 2 demons on the inside, man.
Yeah. Even the other Super Bowl team, Barmore and Williams, were really, really good pairing. I mean, top 5 type pairings,
Good call. When the Niners were going to Super Bowls, it was when they had DeForest Buckner and some of those guys on
Aaron
the interior.
Donald and, right.
Yep,
yeah.
absolutely.
Right.
One more segment to go here in the first hour. We'll continue to roll along. Uhler and Williamson. It's The Drive, Steelers Nation Radio on the Steelers Audio Network. Final segment here of the first hour, and I want to get to some numbers that Matt has been teasing this week.
Yeah.
The FTN packet is out, Matt
Williamson.
Yes,
the almanac. It's a big day, man.
It is a big. There's a couple days. We love Warren Sharp when he releases his stuff.
Mm-hmm.
FTN. Dane Brugler when he does the Beast. Leading up to the NFL draft every year.
Sandoz quarterback tiers is a fun one. Yeah, there's a couple of those things coming up.
Absolutely, and some numbers. I think we will continue to reference some of this FTN stuff. Probably even through training camp, I would imagine.
Oh yeah, it's only been out for 24 hours. I'm just looking at it.
It's an almanac.
I just read it quick and cut and pasted a bunch of stuff and threw them on Twitter.
And some of the things that you pull out of there stand out, and I think are worth a conversation. Mm-hmm. The first one that really I want to get your thoughts on. A league highest percentage of the league of passes against the Steelers were to the middle of the field, 31% of the time.
Yeah.
So almost a third of the time that teams threw against the Steelers was over the middle of the field. No other defense in the NFL was above 26%.
Yeah.
So
it's a distant first.
The highest, the other highest teams were 25 point something percent. The Steelers 31% of the time.
Yes.
Why is that? Why was that the case?
So tweets you like to keep short and succinct, but like the next couple sentences, and this is something I've known too, it's been like 5 years in a row that the Steelers are either like 1 or 2 in the league.
So you can't say because they're just picking on Patrick Queen, in
right?
Coverage,
you can't just
picking on Peyton Wilson.
They had a lot of safety injuries or whatever. Yeah. I don't know, and I don't have a great reason for it. And what's bonkers about it is the Steelers are like the team that threw in the middle of the field the least. Now I do know that in the passing game, the Steelers defense, and this has gone on for a couple of years too, faces a very low average depth of target. People don't throw deep against the Steelers often, but the numbers show that it was successful when they did, but they still don't. They don't game plan to do that. And they get the ball out of the quarterback's hands very quickly. The average time to throw is always very short. And I think that's just a massive reflection of being afraid of the pass rush.
Yeah.
We're not going to hold the ball against these guys. We can't hold up against Herbig, Highsmith, Watt, Ham, people might not believe it, and the sack numbers don't reflect it, but the league tells you and that they greatly, greatly respect and fear the Steelers' pass rush. Now, this is kind of nitpicking, but I think routes developing between the numbers happen quicker, or I have to hold the ball a little less than a deep out, something like that.
Mm-hmm.
Even if you're not going deep necessarily on the ball, I think still it reflects on getting the ball out quick, over the middle, quick hitter, boom.
Mm-hmm.
I also think that schematically, which I hope will change, this is kind of like the fourth quarter defense conversation. It's like you kind of get figured out and you realize that you have holes in your scheme that haven't been fixed for 5 years because teams, I don't know what the numbers are this year, but I have a pretty good idea. Over those 5 years, not only do they do it a lot, the offenses have been good at it. It's not we're doing it and Steelers love it, and they're thrown in the teeth of the defense, and they're destroying it. So I don't have a great answer why it's such a trend, and for so many years to be at the top of the league. Now, some of it could be you face the Ravens twice a year and Harbaugh thought, we're going to throw the middle of the field every time. And Lamar is a big-time middle of the field thrower. You know, like you might get skewed because you played the Ravens twice, and the Ravens are always going to attack the middle field against everybody, and they're going to double it against the Steelers because that's just what Harbaugh believes against the Tomlin defense. You know, I know that you know that you know that I know.
Right,
you know, right? Yeah, right. Or Burrow's always going to throw the middle of the field again. You know, maybe it's just your division to some degree, but that's a weird trend.
It is. And
I mean, it's more than a trend.
It feels like it has to be schematic related to,
I think
as you
so,
kind of
too.
mentioned, because when it's 5 consecutive years, you and I have talked about this a million times. There's no defense without its schematic weakness.
Right.
Or
There's
else
cover 2 beaters. There's cover 3 beaters.
Everyone would run that defense.
Yes.
If it was a 3-man front, if it was a 4-man front, if it was cover 2, if it was cover 3, everyone would run that defense if there was a perfect defense. But this, to me, feels like the book was out that the weakness in the Steelers' defense and their scheme was attack the middle of the field.
Attack the middle of the field. Now, I don't think their safeties and linebackers have been great over the last couple of years.
I don't think they've been bums
I don't think they're bums, though, either.
Yeah.
It's not like, boy, you got to get rid of that guy. There was a stretch. I mean, it was a short stretch. Remember at the end of the 2024 season, they were pulling safeties and linebackers off the couch. You know, they're just trying to find anybody
I do remember that, yeah.
But that's only a 4 or 5 game stretch, you know, but still. One thing that this kind of dawned on me that I bet is very true is, and it will change, I mean, because Graham's history implies this, they're very static with their safety usage. It was a deep middle, almost always Minka, and a strong was doing strong things, you know, over the tight end, near the line of scrimmage. But they didn't interchange the players. You know, a lot of teams, the safeties are interchangeable. The Steelers, they always knew who the free was going to be, you know, I mean, more than anything. But where I'm going with this even stronger is a huge trend. I mean, a key to playing quarterback or reading defenses is often you start with safeties. You know, I'm going to read the safeties first. So what has the league done? The league at a very rapid rate is moving safeties at the snap, rocking and rolling them and, you know, things like that. Like, okay, it looks,
what you're doing.
Yeah. At the snap, safety rotations is something that's really picked up in its percentage, but the Steelers haven't. So you might be less reluctant to throw to the middle of the field if you're like, Minka looks like the free safety, but a lot of times he just acts like a robber and comes into the middle of the field or whatever, you know? So I think, I know Graham will move his safeties. They'll be more interchangeable, and they'll move more at the snap or right before the snap, you know?
And
that's a big reason, like a Rodgers or a Manning will wait so long into the snap count, you know, use every bit of the clock because he wants to wait them out. You know, like it's harder to rotate when there's only 2 seconds left on the play clock. You know, you can use that to your advantage, or they're going to show their hand, you know.
It makes a lot of sense, honestly, when you kind of break it down and dig into it. Matt, you mentioned, and we've talked about the fourth quarter struggles for the Steelers defense in terms of surrendering points. 174 of the Steelers' 387 points against came in the fourth quarter. That's the most total fourth points surrendered by a defense since the 2020 Raiders.
Yeah.
That's not the Patrick Graham Raiders. Don't worry, people. That's not
still.
That's not.
It's just reinforcing that they're allowing a
keeping.
ton of points in the fourth quarter.
Yes.
I mean, you know how we did a couple like goals last year. It was like get back to the top 5 in sacks, get your yards per carry up. This is by far my number one. Is fourth quarter defense has to not be historically bad. I mean, again, get from garbage to average.
Fourth quarter defense has to be better. Explosives on both sides of the ball have to be better.
Explosive ratio for sure, yeah.
And then I'm going to go with hopefully Aaron Rodgers just holds the ball a millisecond or 2 longer. Mm-hmm. Those would be the 3 ones, millisecond or 2 longer to protect for the quarterback.
I'm also going to stick with sacks going up too. I think a reason the sacks didn't go up isn't because they didn't rush the passer great. It's the same reason. The ball's coming out really fast and people are attacking short. And I think a lot of that's a reflection on the corners. That if you only have one man corner,
makes sense, and
you're playing off, there were just too many quick answers to attack the other corners not named Porter.
Another thing that really stood out to me, Matt, kind of changing gears here a little bit as we close down this conversation. The Steelers had just 4.2 yards per pass play with play action.
This is the weirdest thing ever.
Compared to 6.5 per pass without it. No other offense had a difference of more than 0.5 yards in favor of not using play action.
Yeah.
So essentially, the Steelers were the worst passing game in the league if they used a play fake and above average if they did not. This was the 11th straight year the Steelers have had a reverse DOVA split with play action, which is mind-blowing considering that most teams will be better with play action than without it. It's also mind-blowing when you consider that for of those 11 years, guys like Ben Roethlisberger and Aaron Rodgers and Russell Wilson, like proven, established veteran quarterbacks. Yeah, I know you had some Trubisky's and some Pickett's and some Rudolphs in there too, but you'd think with these veteran guys, but I don't think it's something that Ben loved. I don't think it's something that Aaron loves.
This is super bizarre because the league, it's coming back to reality a little bit more because I think defenses just are being taught not to bite on play action like they once did. But it was a cheat code for 10 or 15 years. And one of my soapboxes and criticisms of the Steelers offense, no matter who was the quarterback or coordinator, was why are you always at the bottom of the league in play action? And I did realize they weren't very good at it, no matter who it was one thing. But it still made me crazy. It was, Dale got tired of me saying it at times. I'm like, well, get your play action percentage up. The whole league is way better when using play action than not. And it's still true, but it's less true. But to go 11 years in a row,
that's wild.
Being noticeably better without it than with.
And how many different quarterbacks in the last 11 years?
Because like the next sentence, again, I'm not going to put a super long paragraph on Twitter, and because I've read every almanac in those 11 years, their next sentence was, "We thought that was just a Roethlisberger thing. He doesn't like it."
I did too for a long time.
Right, and okay, and it probably was. There's been a lot of quarterbacks since then.
Sure have.
And there's been a lot of coordinators since then. I do think it's a Rodgers thing. I also think it's an old school great quarterback thing where I don't need I'm just going to outsmart them anyways. Yeah. I mean, you can still run play action out of shotgun too, but some quarterbacks, Burrow's one of them, doesn't like to turn his back to the defense because, folks, when you turn your back to the defense, they're not where they used to be. They move. And a guy like Rodgers, his greatest strength, especially at this stage of his career or end of career Ben, was they're not going to confuse me on defense. Maybe they will if I take my eyes off them, so why would I ever do that? But there was a lot of quarterbacks in between there.
There sure was.
That's the thing. I mean, to go 11 straight years is nuts.
And multiple offensive coordinators in there,
exactly,
too. So it's not like you could just pinpoint one person.
Right. And some of them were all-time greats, and some of them were Duck Hodges. You know what I mean?
There's a lot of variance there.
Yes.
But the play-action pass game continued to struggle. We will continue to look at some of those numbers from the Almanac as we roll along this summer, this offseason. Maybe even we'll reference some of that stuff during training camp. I would imagine we will. But that's the first hour in the books. When we return, Matt, I want to talk greatest quarterback of all time with you. I want to do a little knockout-style competitions and talk about some of these all-time greats as we continue another one of our off-season themes. We'll crown the World Cup champion of best quarterback ever. Though, I was thinking about that driving home. World Cup champion kind of means that it's the world involved, and football is a almost exclusively American sport. There's not just there's guys from Europe, there's guys from South America and Africa, without a doubt, but it's almost an American sport.
I'd say Argentina is not well represented in our brackets. Yeah, right.
You know what? Can we get Messi as a kicker for a couple of years whenever he decides to hang him up?
Someone asked me on a different podcast, what position would soccer players be best at in the NFL?
Kicker.
And I immediately say kicker and punter, of course. It's like, Obviously. Yeah, right.
But there's some of those big defenders, though, like some of those big center backs that are like 6'3", 6'4", would be.
I bet some could be corners.
Would be pretty good corners.
Yeah, change directions and can run, and I don't think they.
You seen that Haaland guy from Norway?
No.
He's like a 6'6" Viking and runs like a 4.3.
Oh, really?
He's maybe the greatest goal scorer in soccer history. And
wow.
We were probably just saying that about Ronaldo a few years ago, but this guy's incredible. And he's 6'6" and looks like a Viking.
Looks like he's like
that guy could have been
coming to conquer.
That guy could have been Patrick Willis or Luke Kuechly if he wanted, if he grew up in a different country.
I will say, and this is a blanket statement, but the little soccer I've watched, those fellows don't like getting hit all that
No, they
much.
don't. That would be an important thing to rectify, certainly. Halfway home here on The Drive, Uhler and Williamson, Steelers Nation Radio on the Steelers Audio Network. Good evening, Steeler Nation. How we doing? Well, that's good. Us too. It is hour number 2 of The Drive here on your 24/7 home of the black and gold. Guys, can we peel back the curtain for just 5 seconds?
Please.
We spent the break showing Matt Williamson discovering the wonders of Erling Haaland. The Viking Norwegian striker.
Yes.
Who has his team in the quarterfinals and has 7 goals in 5 games or something ridiculous.
So he's also great at the game.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, okay.
Yeah. He's one of the best in the world. And I'm not kidding. There are NFL players that I would rather have tackle me than that guy.
Okay.
Just without a doubt. Without a doubt.
And he runs like the wind, you said.
Oh.
I mean, yeah.
It's like Rob Gronkowski if Rob Gronkowski ran a 4.3.
Okay.
Good luck.
Yeah.
Good, and had Viking blood in his lineage. Matt.
We were joking off the air, imagine 500 to 700 of them land on your shores with bad intentions.
They burn
their boats because we're not leaving.
They've got axes.
Yeah, it's like we're in trouble, man. We're in real trouble. It's like, hon, you might want to get out of here. This is not going to go well.
This is not going to go well for us. I can't imagine.
And they don't even
go for you.
hide through the woods. They're just like, we're coming. Right. Like that dude. Downhill.
Speaking of World Cup, Matt, it is time for another World Cup and today we're going to do...
This is going to be hard, because some of it's going to be eye of the beholder stuff, too.
Sure, and some of it is going to be...
or Montana,
How much do you value team success versus the individual success?
Yeah.
How much do you value the full body of work versus just what they did in the big moments? Because
I think we have to do body of work for this, though.
I think so.
Who has the final resume...
and it's likely going to be Brady.
I think he has the best resume.
But I also think you can make and this is not from a hater perspective, right? I wouldn't say I love Tom Brady, but I don't hate Tom Brady either. I'm kind of neutral on him. I do think he is the best quarterback, the greatest quarterback of all time. But I think you can make a legitimate argument for a few other people of, if I'm guaranteed to get them on their best day, they are better than Tom Brady.
Even not the best day. I think I could come up with 8 names that I could make a case I would rather play against Brady than Mahomes or Rodgers or even an Allen. Mm-hmm. Some of it's just because they're more gifted than him. Although Brady has a massively underrated arm.
I was going to say, he gets underrated sometimes in this conversation, too, of he was just a great leader and a great winner. And no, he had a lot of tools, too.
He could throw. He has the most repeatable mechanics on the planet. In terms of the ball comes out the same with the right trajectory on it, better than anybody. He had a bigger, stronger arm than people realized as well. And, of course, he's great from above the neck. And mobility is going to come up for sure in this conversation. So I'm going to start with that.
Okay.
I'm going to judge mobility by era. Because if you're – I always use Bledsoe as an example, but there's a million of them. They're just pure pocket passers. They're not for this era, But he was fine for his day. You know what I mean? So I'm not going to kill – exactly. But Manning, Marino, Brady, there's probably another or two that are considered, quote, bad athletes that would run a terrible 40 time, were tremendous maneuvering in the pocket. Greg Cosell always says, think about it like it's a boxing ring, the pocket. Just these short little strides while I'm still keeping my hands above my face and throwing punches.
It's not who can run the 100-meter dash the fastest.
All those dudes, I feel the rusher coming from the left, and I can just move slightly while still keeping my posture to deliver the football. Those 3 are as good as anyone in history. And that's a real art form, and it is a form of athleticism, too. They just don't run fast.
That it's going to be a fun discussion and conversation here for sure. TV, can you hand me or I'll just disappear off no, I'll stay on camera. All right, everyone wants to see the pretty face. Just hand me something to write down here.
No, okay. I thought you need a Kleenex or
Thank
something.
You, Mr. Television. No, I need to make sure I can fill out this bracket.
Okay.
So Matt, once again, I went to artificial intelligence.
Young pups just do that on your phones or whatever.
I'm old school though.
I know
see
you
me every day.
I
still like to write stuff down. It sticks in my brain better, and I could just almost visualize it better than looking off of a screen. 16, I did the same thing. I went to artificial intelligence, said rank for me the top 16 quarterbacks in the NFL of all time. I said they must be retired except for Patrick Mahomes and Aaron Rodgers.
Okay.
So everybody else on this list is retired.
I don't know if you do Mahomes or not. I'm glad Rodgers is on there.
I guess we could dump Mahomes if you wanted to, but I just thought...
he's done enough that I think, for me, he's number one. Even if he retired today. Last person I want to play against. Just because of the whole package.
Baby.
Brady has the best resume, but unlike Rodgers, Mahomes does have a lot of story left. I mean, I'm nitpicking, but like, if Mahomes is in the top 16, which of course he belongs, if we're counting active players, Allen would be in my 16. Lamar would be in my 16. Like
Otto Graham is on this list, and
I could do without him.
We
I just don't know how to.
We can replace him if you want to. I'm sure there's plenty of candidates. But do
what you want.
Here's the 16 that it gave me.
Okay.
Tom Brady, Joe Montana, Patrick Mahomes.
Is this 1 to 16 in order?
Yes.
Okay.
Peyton Manning 4, Johnny Unitas 5, John Elway 6, Aaron Rodgers 7, Dan Marino 8, Drew Brees 9, Brett Favre 10, Steve Young 11, Otto Graham 12, Roger Staubach 13, Terry Bradshaw 14, Benjamin Todd Roethlisberger 15, and Troy Aikman 16.
Let's do it.
Yeah, you don't look at that and say we got to have somebody in there.
No, I mean, unless you want to do some active guys, but that gets slippery.
It does too. And there was part of me that thought, like, get one of these other, great quarterback, like maybe if you want to say a Phillip Rivers or somebody and replace him with Otto Graham, but
like I don't need Eli in there,
no.
Or like Dan Fouts might have made my list. I mean, I'm sure I could come up with names that are maybe in my top 16, especially if we were to get like Graham out of there.
Like I thought about taking Graham out and putting in a Matthew Stafford.
Yeah,
or something
Stafford
like that.
could be in my top 16. I mean, there's other names I'm sure, but that's cool.
Let's leave it at.
I'm going to be prejudiced against Unitas and especially Graham though.
Yes, absolutely. But don't let Bob Labriola hear you say that, or else he'll come fight us the next time he sees us.
I mean, like when I was a kid though, when I knew anything about football, it was widely regarded that Unitas was the best quarterback ever. And then I would say when I was about 20, it was pretty widely regarded that Montana was the best quarterback ever. Until about Brady, really. I think Brady kind of took that national mantra or whatever from Montana.
From Montana.
Yeah.
I think Peyton might have had a little bit of spin in that conversation. Elway might have had a little bit of say in that conversation at times. But
they just didn't have as many rings, which was really
correct.
A huge thing, a part of it.
First matchup, Matt, in the top half of the bracket, Tom Brady versus Troy Aikman. That's a pretty easy one.
It's a real easy one. I think Aikman belongs on this list. But I said this the other day with Emmett, their life was easier than a lot of these quarterbacks because of the line, because of their environment, because of what was around them. Like,
imagine if you put Josh Allen or Lamar Jackson into that offense.
Or Elway at the time, or somebody like that.
Imagine you put Ben Roethlisberger into that
offense. Exactly. Like, this isn't his fault, but like, I played fantasy back then. Aikman wasn't even in the leagues. I mean, he didn't run at all. Emmett had every touchdown. Mm-hmm. I mean, his stat line is bad. I mean, it's like not even top 24 quarterbacks where you wanted him in your fantasy league, Yeah.
I think,
but he made a lot of big plays at the right times, and I mean, he could really spin it.
Maybe like next summer when we're looking for content ideas, we could do a toughest quarterback quarterback you would least want to play against.
Right, like Vic would be high on that list. Randall Cunningham, right?
Absolutely.
And some of those guys were ahead of their time.
Absolutely.
Yeah. Like side note, but we talked about it a while back. Like if Cordell came out of Colorado today, I think he's the first overall pick. Yeah.
Or second, maybe behind Mendoza. I mean,
he's at the top of every draft. Yeah.
This is a fun 8-9 matchup here, Matt. Dan Marino versus Drew Brees.
I'm a little prejudiced against Brees too. Again, he's
another one of those who had to have the perfect situation around him for it to work.
Like I don't know if Ben's better than Brees or Brees is better than Ben, but Brees' numbers are much better. But if you put Brees
on the 31 other teams
in Heinz Field for that whole time against the Ravens and the elements and not in the dome with Sean Payton, it would have been a lot different for Brees.
Whereas if you would have put Ben
anywhere
in the NFC South, it would have been a lot different for him too.
Right. But that's part of it's like when I was a kid, the St. Louis Cardinals had this huge field that was AstroTurf, so they had everybody that could run. It was Vince Coleman and Willie McGee. So they didn't get power hitters. They just had to be built for speed, So maybe the Saints would be more interested in Brees than the Patriots or Steelers would be, you know what I mean? And that was kind of one of my problems with the Kenny Pickett pick was I didn't think he fit the environment particularly well, which was true.
I'm going Dan Marino.
Oh, me too. Marino might be in my top 4.
Don't get me wrong. I think Drew Brees is a Hall of Famer and an all-time great, but I do think he's a little overrated in the overall pantheon of quarterback greatness.
His numbers are a little better than the player to me.
Agreed. That's a good way to put it.
Yeah.
That's a very good way to put it.
And his numbers are awesome.
Although, one thing, and I know I've told you this before, I don't know if I've ever said it on air, but I think when with Pursuta and Dale and all of our Adamski and Backo and all those guys, when we're having sports debates, over a couple cold ones, I think there's something to be said when you are the guy who leads your franchise to its first championship.
Oh, yeah.
That's
something about that.
That's such a hard. You ask anybody who's ever done it. Ask those '70s Steelers. Ask Mario Lemieux.
Yeah.
To lead your franchise to its first championship ever.
They've been downtrodden forever.
Is difficult.
When I was a kid, people wore bags on their heads at St. Games. They were the Aints. Right?
Yep. To be LeBron and finally get the Cavs a championship.
Right,
that's a lot harder than going to Miami or LA and winning one.
Ask Archie Manning in the 70s.
Exactly right.
Him and 10 dudes that shouldn't be on the field with him.
So that is something that I give Drew Brees credit for.
Because there's guys like, and side note, like if Archie Manning goes to the Steelers and not the Saints, he might be like third on this list. He had no chance to succeed.
Absolutely.
Right. And he was still like a Pro Bowler.
I just think in all sports, there's something to be said for being the leader that finally drags your organization over the line for the first time.
Especially a bad organization.
It's a little bit easier to be Ben and Palomalu when you're kind of standing on the shoulders of giants.
Oh, agreed.
And we can do this here because we've done it a million times here.
Dallas, Green Bay, right.
Now, the expectations are a little bit more when you're in that situation.
The fan bases are a little different.
The fan bases are a little different.
Yeah.
But, man, it is tough to win that first one as any organization in any professional sport. It just is.
Yeah.
Marino advances over Drew Brees, though. Peyton Manning versus Roger Staubach. This is another pretty easy one for me. With all due respect to Roger Staubach.
But I think Staubach is vastly underrated as well. Because, boy, was he ahead of his time as a mover. With all respect to Bradshaw, I think Staubach's the quarterback of the 70s.
Okay, yeah, that's fair.
Yeah, 70s were not an offensive, like if you look at the wide receivers in the 70s, it's like Swan Stallworth and like hardly anybody else. And there's not a lot of like big time quarterbacks in the 70s. It's guys like Bob Greasy that just like did their job. But Staubach was a big time problem. But you got to go with Manning.
You got to go with Peyton Manning.
I mean, some of Manning's numbers are crazy, too.
On his best day, he might be the best quarterback ever.
Yeah.
When he had his A+, when he had his fastball in his entire game, he was unbelievable. And he was like an offensive coordinator at the line of scrimmage.
Yes. Side note, two guys we've already mentioned, Aikman and Manning, were horrendous their rookie year.
Yeah.
Like a million picks.
Yes, they were.
Right.
Yes, they were. Guys are allowed to get better.
Yeah. Well, they also were first overall picks, so went to terrible situations. But,
The 5-12 matchup here, Matt, is a tale of two old guys, Johnny Unitas versus Otto Graham. It's Johnny Unitas.
I think it's Unitas.
We should call up Labs for this one. But Labs would still tell you that Unitas is the best quarterback ever. So.
I mean, Graham this is before Super Bowls, but is maybe the winningest quarterback ever, including Brady. Like, I don't even know exactly what Graham's resume is in terms of how many championships the Browns won during that stretch, but they were the dominant team when he was there in terms of winning.
He was there for 10 seasons and won 3 NFL championships.
I thought it was even more.
And won 4 AAFC, the All-American Football Conference championships. 3-time MVP.
So he won the title seven of his 10 years.
And won the MVP 5 of those 10.
Yeah, then I wasn't too far off.
He was a 7-time first-team All-Pro in 10 years and also a 3-time second-team All-Pro. So he was an All-Pro all 10 years. Yeah. 7 of them first-team, 3 of them second-team.
Now, again, it's not
led
like
the
he
league
was
in yards and passing touchdowns and all that stuff.
But to be the first-team All-Pro now, it's like, remember that year with Lamar and Allen, one of them was first-team All-Pro that year, and the other one won the MVP.
Yes.
Like, and Mahomes was a distant fourth or something.
Yes.
Like the guys you have to beat. Like, people give Ben and Russell Wilson a hard time because neither apparently ever got an MVP vote. It's really hard to get an MVP vote because, like, Mahomes one year got all of them because he was clearly the MVP.
And Manning did that a few times.
Right. Even if you're second in that year, no one's going to vote for you because there's an obvious choice.
Yeah, when Peyton Manning throws 53 touchdown passes to Wes Welker in Denver, they're not voting for anybody else.
Right. You could be the third best quarterback that year, but you're not going to get a vote.
Yeah, Johnny Unitas advances over Otto Graham. Although, I will say, after doing this exercise, I have a renewed respect for Otto Graham because, as we've mentioned, you got to be judged based on what you did against your contemporaries. And
I think I've
to win a championship 7 out of 10 years is pretty good.
Yeah. It was Boomer Esiason or Phil Simms. It was like they were doing pregame shows or whatever, and they both were really good quarterbacks, obviously. And it was like 10 years ago. It's probably longer, just knowing me. But they did a study of just all the footballs over the years.
Okay.
And they started with like the original ball up until like the Duke that they use now.
Sure.
And like they took the first couple balls, and they're like, I remember them throwing them. They're like, this is like throwing a manhole cover.
I believe it.
Doesn't even have points at the end. I mean, it's almost like round. You know, I mean, like how do you get your hand around this thing? It's 1,000 pounds. Yeah. It's like, meh. Just like shovel it at each other. So, like, the passing game had something to do with the ball changing, too.
Absolutely.
You know, right. Like, the NFL realized, boy, people like passing. Let's make the ball easier to throw.
They sure have, and they have realized that all the way to becoming the most popular and profitable sports league in the world, baby. So we're halfway home here into the quarterfinals. We'll continue this exercise when we return on the other side. Uhler and Williamson, it's The Drive, Steelers Nation Radio on the Steelers Audio Network. Rolling along here on our World Cup of best quarterback ever. We are halfway into the quarterfinals. Matt, up next. This is a tough draw for our guy. Joe Montana against Ben Roethlisberger.
Ouch.
It's a tough draw for Ben.
I was hoping Ben could advance.
That's
I don't
a tough
think he
draw
can.
for Ben.
I don't have much to add.
I mean,
right.
It's tough to beat Montana.
Now, if you want to nitpick Montana, there's a little bit of a Breeze element there because he was the absolute perfect fit for the West Coast offense that no one had ever seen before. Now, the West Coast offense was invented in Cincinnati with Ken Anderson when Walsh was the offense coordinator.
We did that history lesson earlier this offseason.
Yeah. It's really the Ohio River offense, but, you know.
Right. That doesn't sound as cool.
That's not as cool. But Montana, with his precision and short passing, like if you asked him to do Ben stuff, it wouldn't have gone as well. But
and if you asked Ben to do Montana stuff, it probably wouldn't have gone as well.
He'd probably do it better than anybody, you know, in terms of West Coast, old school Walsh stuff, you know, footwork, timing, ball has to be 6 inches in front of the numbers.
And like Ben was at times.
I've told the story about Walsh because I think it's kind of correlates to McCarthy, whose roots come from Walsh. But I watched a video when I was, 20 years ago or whatever, where Walsh is like, I would go to some practices or just private workouts with Joe or Young, and I would just watch him from the knees down. And
I could tell you if it was a good throw
I knew
or
if
not.
it was complete or not. Yeah. It's like, if you do this perfect, and that's the hope for Aller.
Yeah.
Is if I can make your feet the same all the time, where I know where the ball's going just from watching your footwork, well, now we'll fix your accuracy.
It's like some of those basketball shooting coaches, right? Like they can tell without even look. They can just watch you release the ball and tell if it's going in or not.
Swish, right?
Yeah. It's all hat tip to Big Ben. I'm glad that he was on this list, but
yes,
it's tough to
I would have put him over several.
I would have too.
I would put him over Aikman. I'd put him over Young.
In terms of his rankings and everything. Yeah. This next one up, Matt, is a fun one, and this would be a lot of fun if we were Packers Nation Radio, but our next matchup is Aaron Rodgers versus Brett Favre.
Oh, wow.
I think it's Aaron Rodgers, but
I think kind of by a landslide.
Yeah.
So here's the difference to me, and this is something I've always said about Rodgers, that because there was a time 8 years ago when I would be – I remember when I was at ESPN, so it's even longer than that, when Rodgers was winning MVPs left and right. And I know he continued to do that much later in life, but it was controversial. But I said Rodgers to me is the best quarterback that ever lived. It's kind of like how I say Mahomes is now.
I remember you saying that when I first got to know you.
Yeah, probably 5 years ago.
8 or 9 years ago. Yeah.
Again, just a nightmare to play against. And to me, here's the difference with Favre. But all these quarterbacks are all the Hall of Fame quarterbacks. Now, this doesn't mean that he's definitely the best. But he definitely is the leader for this category. If you take all the Hall of Fame's highlight tapes, be like, wow, this is unbelievable. Look at the throws Favre made. But Rodgers' highlight tape stacks up against anybody.
It would be top 3 or 4 on this list.
Yes. His low light tape is the best of all of them.
It's like 30 seconds long.
Right.
Favre's is like
the worst.
Favre's is like 30 minutes long.
It's the worst.
Favre's low light tape would definitely be the worst, I think, of all these people that we've discussed.
Yes.
You're right. It's Aaron Rodgers.
I think so.
All right, bottom half.
And I think Rodgers learned a ton from Favre.
Absolutely.
I don't know if he'd even ever tell me this, but I've never spoken to Aaron Rodgers. He's been here for a year. If he ever sits down with us, I'm going to try to get this out of him because fortunately for me, the year I was with the Browns was the year Rodgers came out of Cal. And he was so much different.
He was
than
rigid,
that.
pocket
Everything
passer,
was,
up by
right.
his ear.
Yeah. And I wonder how much just sitting in the quarterback room with Favre, whether they were buddies or not, made him realize I can do that and not turn the ball over 1,000 million times.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean?
That would be a very good question to get him to kind of expound upon. Last couple matchups here in the round of 16 before we move on to the quarters. Patrick Mahomes versus the blonde bomber Terry Bradshaw. That's another tough draw for one of our guys.
And it's a landslide.
It's Mahomes. It's Mahomes. But I'm glad that Bradshaw was on this list because I think he deserves to be on here when you consider some of the other names.
And he wasn't Aikman. I mean, yes, he had a great supporting cast.
He was a league MVP at one point.
I mean, he was a driving force of the 2 second Super Bowls in particular. I mean, they threw the ball down the field.
And then last one here, Matt. You better be careful how you answer this because I know what my answer is. John Elway versus Steve Young.
I don't think this one's close either.
It's Elway.
It's your guy. Yeah.
It's Elway, baby.
I mean, Elway's got a chance. Elway's in competition for who do I least want to play against in the history of the planet.
Yes.
Young, to me, had some of the things I said about Montana being, in his favor, but he was also way ahead of his time as a mover. I mean, he was a great runner, and when quarterbacks didn't run, that was a club in his bag that people didn't have in that era.
Yes, they did. Yes, they did.
He could play against Aikman in those huge games, and one could run and one couldn't.
One could run and one could not. Yeah, no, Steve Young was, I think, the first that people
you can incorporate it.
People would look at those quarterbacks and go, he's a running quarterback.
Yeah.
I think Steve Young was the first that they said he's a quarterback who can run.
So 2 crazy stories that I don't think everyone realizes. Well, there's actually kind of 3. Steve Young was drafted by the USFL. Well, he's drafted by the Bucs. They had his rights. He went to the USFL for more money and was property of the Bucs and looked like a flameout. The Niners sent a first-round pick for him. Favre was a second-round pick by the Falcons.
Yes, by the Falcons.
Didn't know anything, was party boy, didn't know what a nickel defense was. Glanville hated him, was terrible. The Packers sent a first for him. It's like these 2 teams saw greatness in these guys.
They sure did.
You know what I mean? Like when they were down.
I didn't know that it was
That's
a
like
first.
sending
I didn't know it was a first for Favre.
Yeah.
When he was a second-round pick.
It would almost be like sending a first for Anthony Richardson right now.
Yeah.
Or like J.J. McCarthy.
J.J. McCarthy.
Or Penix or somebody like that looks like a bust.
Jackson Dart.
Yeah, right.
First rounder for Jackson Dart right now.
Except Dart was
Dart
way better.
Was a first-round pick.
Right. Like these guys look like disasters, and these teams gave up first for them and turned them into guys on this list.
Imagine if Brett Favre knew what a nickel defense was.
Right.
I tell you what, he'd be doing all right. Elway advances, and so our quarterfinal is now set. We are down to 8, and we start at the top once again, Matt, and this is a really good, all these are going to be good conversations at this point. Brady versus Dan Marino for a seat in the Final Four.
I was hoping to get Marino really far in this list, but because he'd be high on my top 10. Just dices defenses apart.
Didn't have the greatest surrounding cast.
No, neither did Elway for most of his career.
No doubt.
And Rodgers has some of this too, that at this league, there's like no defense for the perfect throw. I mean, if I'm bigger than you and I'm covering you perfectly, there's still a spot you could fit a football, and Marino did that better than anybody.
If he had just one Super Bowl, he would be mentioned all the time with Brady and Mahomes and Rodgers, and he still kind of is, but not to the extent that he would be if he just had one.
I was only 10 when he hit the league, though, but it was like Randy Moss. Like, who is this guy? Like, the league changed because Marino tore them apart.
He might be the greatest American athlete to never win a championship. I'd have to go back and really think about that and look at, but he might be of the 4 major sports in this country.
I'm sure there's some basketball players. Karl
Barry
Malone
Bonds comes to mind, and there's certainly some basketball players.
But he's probably the best.
Jordan took all their lunch money back in the 90s, right? Malone and Ewing and all those guys.
Yeah.
But it might be Marino, might be the greatest.
Again, you'd hate to play against that dude, especially early in his career. I mean, after he tore his Achilles, he wasn't quite the same, but he was a phenomenal player.
Just a killer.
Yeah.
Next round, couple Colts for a spot in the semifinal. It's Peyton Manning versus Johnny U. It's Manning.
Yeah, and there's a little recency bias there, but I think it's Manning. I think if you'd ask Colts fans who's the best Colts quarterback ever, they'd take Peyton.
What do you think the chances are that we could get Labs on before training camp, or maybe even for a segment during training camp, and we could ask him why he still thinks Johnny Unitas is the greatest quarterback
I didn't know he's still on that.
Oh, yeah.
Okay.
Yep. Still, Johnny. Next time
I bet
you see
he'll
Labs,
cite things that are very reasonable, but it was also what was done that in the day. he called the whole offense. He was also the offense coordinator.
Sure.
You know, Bradshaw did some of that, but I mean, back in the day, Unitas was renowned at that. You know, like he'd set up defenses, like if I do this play and then do play action off it, like Shanahan does now.
Sure.
You know,
sure. And he was the quarterback when they lost to Broadway Joe and the Jets, right? In Super Bowl
yes,
III.
but he was in the very end.
Yeah,
I don't even think
yeah.
he started the game.
Oh, okay, gotcha.
Yeah.
Gotcha.
But he was on the team.
Next quarterfinal matchup, Matt. My goodness, this is like Argentina versus France here in the quarterfinals. Montana versus Rogers.
We said that in the opening, we're doing best resumes. Joe's is better.
I think that's where you have to kind of.
Yeah, I could
defer
certainly
to.
make the argument that I'd rather play against Joe.
I would too.
But
I think my
his
answer for this
resume
would
is
be
better.
Rogers, but I feel like we almost have to go with Montana.
Yeah, if the parameters are resume, I think Brady's got the best resume, and Montana's probably the second.
And we also, if we don't take Montana here, all of our quarterbacks are going to be like recent guys, and that is a little biased. For us.
Right. I mean, his greatness can't be understated either. I mean, he was unbelievable.
We'll go Montana here just because of the resume, but I tell you what, either of those guys are in the conversation.
I mean, he might be the best Super Bowl quarterback ever.
Might
I
be.
mean, Bradshaw's in that conversation. I mean, like, he's undefeated.
It's pretty good. 4-0.
Yeah. All right.
And then last but certainly not least, this is another great one. Matt, Mahomes versus Elway for a spot in the Final Four.
I'm going Mahomes.
You know what? I think I am too.
I mean, even just in terms of resume, and I know his isn't done.
I think I could easily argue that on their best day, again, that whole you're getting an A+ performance from them guaranteed.
Yeah.
Give me Elway. But Mahomes,
On their best day, they may be the best two ever.
they might be the two most talented quarterbacks
Yeah,
ever on their best day.
Josh Allen's in that conversation too, just like gifts.
Aaron Rodgers would be in that conversation.
What sticks with me with Mahomes, though, is before last year, his worst season is losing the AFC Championship.
Yeah, it's
I mean, that's. I mean, that's your. If that was your floor,
and I know he's got one of the best coaches ever and one of the best tight ends ever and a really good defense, but he also has been to 5 Super Bowls already and won 3 of them.
Yeah, I mean, and Tyreek Hill has come and gone, and Kelsey ain't what he used to be.
Their offensive line ain't what it used to be.
Yeah.
It's hard to go against Mahomes. So our semifinal is set. Brady versus Manning, Montana versus Mahomes. How does it play out? We will decide when we return for the last segment. We'll also get to your questions, comments, concerns, and reactions before we get out of here. Uhler and Williamson. It's The Drive, Steelers Nation Radio on the Steelers Audio Network. Into the Final Four of our World Cup of greatest NFL quarterbacks of all time. We started with 16, now 4 just remain. Tom Brady, Peyton Manning, Joe Montana, and Patrick Mahomes. Matt, the first semifinal matchup here is a matchup that we saw on a big stage many times with our own 2 eyes.
Yeah.
Brady versus Manning.
And you got to give it to Brady.
You do.
But what's funny is people don't remember this portion of Brady's history, and I'm not bashing him at all. There was a long stretch of his great career where he was not considered like a top 2 quarterback in the league.
Absolutely.
There was never a stretch of Manning's career that he was not considered maybe the best, or same with Rodgers.
Maybe his last year, when he was in his 40s, but that was it.
Like Ben was ahead of Brady there for a while, or and it's not. And Brady's greatness wasn't just longevity, but he really had 2 careers, and maybe even 3.
It's crazy. You're
He
right. He
basically had 2 Patriot careers, and the first one was good, and he'd go to Pro Bowls.
He was a facilitator. He was a manager.
But if we had this conversation, even like year 8 of Brady, it'd be like, oh man, he's might be the best ever. What are we talking about here? Brady's just a Pro Bowler.
Right.
Yeah.
I think
but I still think you give this to Brady.
You do, and it is nuts how Tom Brady's best football of his career came in his mid-30s and on, which is typically not the case for a lot of these guys. But you're right. In hindsight, Tom Brady has more Super Bowl rings than any other franchise does.
Yeah.
He's got 7. The Steelers and the Patriots have 6. You can't deny Tom Brady here. As much as I agree with you, I think for a long time Peyton Manning was the better quarterback.
Yes,
but Brady,
especially statistically.
Brady just unbelievable, the type of winner that he was able to develop and grow into.
Now they were obviously big rivals of that day, and they go down as a heavyweight fight. But there is some Breeze Ben conversation there too. I mean, one played in the Dome, one played in the extreme Northeast.
Yeah.
And both teams built their teams respectively. You know, the Patriots were big. They were built off the Giants, Parcells era. You know, their linebackers are all 260. You know what I mean? Like, they're big physical group. Where Manning, I have great respect for what Bill Polian did. But, like, look in Manning's era, they used first-round pick after first-round pick on skill guys, even when they were the best offense in the league. Mm-hmm. Like, they had a really good left tackle. They had a really good center. Didn't spend a lot of money on the other linemen, but it was first-round pick after first-round pick.
Edgerrin James and Marvin and Reggie.
Oh, yeah. There's even guys like Gonzalez and a die that people don't talk about.
Yeah.
Dallas Clark, Marvin, Wayne. You know, like almost every year. They had 2 big-time pass rushers, spent no more money on defense, gave Peyton all the money, Freeney, Mathis, Wayne, Harrison.
We're going to be
played
in the
Dome.
You guys are going to rush quarterbacks.
Yes. And in the fourth quarter, you 2 pin your ears back because Peyton's going to get us to 30. But then they go to New England or Pittsburgh, and they weren't built for the weather.
They weren't built for Mike Vrabel and Joey Porter and
Jerome
cold
Bettis
weather. And
right. You know, right. Like those little edge rushers versus Jerome aren't so great. You know,
right. That was just that I will always remember those Brady Manning years very fondly because Manning got the best of Tom a few times too, but Tom did more so often, was the one who was victorious, just like he is here now. Tom Brady moves to the final. Who will join him, Matt? Is it Joe Montana or is it Patrick Mahomes? I think it's Patrick Mahomes.
I think it's Mahomes. Yeah.
I do too.
I mean, they both have 3 rings, right?
Montana has 4.
I don't think.
I'm pretty sure he does.
Why do I not know that off the top of my head?
I'm pretty
sure.
Mahomes
has 3, right?
Mahomes has 3. He's been to 5.
Been to 5.
And,
3 and 2. 4 for Joe.
Yep. 4 for Broadway Joe.
Okay.
4-0.
3. Okay.
Perfect 4-0. 4-time Super Bowl champion, 3-time Super Bowl MVP, 2-time NFL MVP. Offensive Player of the Year, 3-time First Team All-Pro, 2-time Second Team All-Pro. I think the only way you could argue Montana over Mahomes is the perfect 4-0 Super Bowl record, but for just about everything else, I think Mahomes is.
I mean, the fact that Mahomes has 3.
Yeah.
I mean, it's not like he's 1-4 in the Super Bowl either. Right. He still has a winning record.
He sure does. He sure does.
His postseason stuff's not bad.
And hey, Montana won a national championship at Notre Dame too. So I mean, that dude just wins.
Yes.
But there's some with Montana and Brady. I don't think I've ever said this to you, but there's some Mark Messier vibes with those two with me.
You mean that in a good way or a bad way?
Neither. Just that I don't know if he was ever really the best player on his team, but or like the best player at his position of his era.
Okay. Because like for people who don't know, Messier was the second line center early in his career because the best guy ever was.
And Messier's an all-time great.
Yes.
But like he wasn't Wayne Gretzky. But after the Oilers traded Wayne Gretzky, he won another cup with Edmonton when Gretzky was in L.A.
And then the Rangers too,
right?
And
then he went to the Rangers and won one in New York after doing that famous guarantee of, we're going to win Game 6 and then we're going to win Game 7.
You're kind of talking about him as a winner.
Yes. Really,
so Messier has a lot of rings.
Just like Brady, he's got 6.
Wow.
Just like Brady, Messier is an all-time great.
Yes.
But he won a lot more than some people who were greater than him. Does that make sense? Like
you'd rather play against Messier than Mario or Wayne.
Yes. Yes.
Yes. Yeah.
Now Messier had more of a penchant to punch you in the face from time to time, but you would rather play against him. So it's just like I've always tried to find kind of like the Brady and the Montana comparisons because you could list Manning and Mahomes and Elway and Rodgers and people who are more talented than those guys.
Yeah.
But just
the one plays like Josh Allen or
the way that these guys found to be at their best when it mattered most
is huge.
That means just as much, if not more, in sports than any of this other stuff.
Yes, agreed.
And with that,
and I think Montana's probably the best example of that.
Hey, you got 4 Super Bowls and a national championship.
And Bradshaw has a case for that too.
5-0 in championship games. That's pretty good. Also a Western Pennsylvania guy to boot. Matt, it is the championship. The World Cup trophy is in the building. Brady versus Mahomes.
We already gave the leader to Brady. Again, if this is resume.
I will say, though, there is still a chance for Mahomes to usurp him.
What if he plays 8 more years and wins 3 more titles or even 2?
Yeah.
I mean, I always thought it was unfair, but then there was a big narrative when the Bucks beat the Chiefs.
I was just going to reference this. This is Mahomes' only chance to ever be
great.
great.
And now he can't ever be the best quarterback ever.
In the league. What are you talking about?
He goes to Super Bowl every year.
What are you talking about?
Now, if this trend from last year is what the Chiefs are going forward, he may have to have a Brady, and he could. Like, he could still have the career Brady did to some degree where we talk about, remember that first career with the Chiefs? And then he had like 6 years where he was a top 5 quarterback, but they didn't win anything. And then from age 34 to 38, he won 3 more. You know, they ended up with a phenomenal wide receiver and a different coach. And, you know, like he could still put together 2 amazing Hall of Fame careers because he's already put together 1.
That's a very astute point by you. And as much as I hate it, Tom Brady just won himself another trophy.
Yeah.
He is our World Cup of Quarterbacks champion here on the Drive 2026. Matt, we've got a few minutes left here. Let's hit some tweets before we get out of here.
Okay.
Coach Matt tweets us and says, can you guys go through and see what teams you think could potentially be interested in making a trade with the Steelers for Mike Tomlin when the season is over? Basically, current coaches on the hot seat. Bowles in Tampa Bay.
Yeah. I would think he would be really interested in that job. He worked for that family.
Right.
They're not a complete train wreck, even if they have a bad year.
They don't have a fan base that is going to hold your feet to the fire every time you lose a game.
This definitely is not a negative statement about Tomlin. I mean it in a very flattering way. But if you're a garbage organization and he can at least get me to like 9 wins every year.
We're going to be playing important games at Christmas every year.
Browns, Jets, Cardinals, Raiders. I mean, these teams that haven't won forever that I feel pretty confident in a year or two.
Commanders?
I'll be
That's another one.
They'll be like really relevant. Now, would he want to go to those teams? Maybe. I mean, that'd be a great challenge. It's kind of like your Drew Brees thing. Like you take a bad team and you win your first Super Bowl.
It means a lot.
You never buy another beer in that town. You know what I mean? Like
Giannis Antetokounmpo's 1 championship in Milwaukee probably means as many as Steph Curry's 4 in Golden State.
Yeah, right. You know, it's different to take over the Steelers or Packers or whatever and just be expected. But if you take the Cardinals and win it all, or you know the Raiders back to prominence post Al Davis, you know, those are the teams to me that should love somebody like that. Like I thought Pete Carroll was going to do that for the Raiders last year. Didn't happen at all.
Matt, you go to Ohio State and Alabama and win a national championship, and they go, great, do it again next year.
Yeah, that's nice. Beat Michigan.
You go to WVU and you win a national championship. I'm painting your face on my garage for the rest of my life.
Doesn't matter what happens either.
I'm going to have a shrine of you in my basement like you're the Pope. Buccaneers definitely won. I think Commanders would be one.
That's a real good one, yeah.
I would say the Bengals, but I wouldn't see Mike Tomlin taking another and the Steelers wouldn't trade him to another AFC
No, I don't
North
think
team,
they would trade him.
Titans just got a new
coach. Would you trade him for a first-round pick to the Bengals?
Maybe. I said maybe.
Yeah.
Jets?
Yeah.
Dolphins just got a new. They're not going to pull the plug after 1 year. Raiders, same thing.
A team might, though, if it's a disaster for Tomlin.
For Tomlin.
Yeah, right.
True.
Atlanta,
Sean
Paytons and Tomlins don't become available very often.
No, they do not. But I would say there's probably at least 4 or 5 ones that you can definitely. Commanders.
I was trying to think some of the non-perennial junkie teams. Tampa is the one that first came to mind, like you said.
What if Andy Reid were to retire?
Yeah. I mean, something like that would make a ton of sense.
And the Chiefs were like, let's bring Mike Tomlin in here.
McVay said, I just won the Super Bowl. I'm done. I'm riding off in the sunset. You know, like, okay.
Jeff says, can you guys give your opinion on how you see the interior linebackers being utilized? Are Queen and Wilson on the field a lot together? Will we see just one in dime and nickel, and which one? And how much time do you think Sawyer will see behind the 3 big edge rushers? Also, what are your top 5 favorite mob movies? Good questions there from Jeff.
I think Sawyer plays at most 10 snaps a game, you know, and early downs.
Especially with the investment in the other 3 now.
Yeah. I mean, he'll be active. He may have a role on early downs here and there, but it's 2 plays and then TJ comes back in.
Yeah.
You know, TJ taps out or something. The linebacker question's a really interesting one. One of the things I tweeted from the Football Outsiders FTN Almanac that I knew was true, but I didn't know how true it was. Steelers played less than 1% of dime last year. I mean, that probably will change, but the league's really heavy nickel. I mean, some teams are playing a lot of dime, but
nickel's like base personnel now.
Yeah, but I definitely think there will be a lot of stretch. Like you think of nickel, you think of 2 off-the-ball linebackers, but I think you'll see a lot, because a lot of teams do this now too, 5-man front with a, you know, Benton, Harmon, Cam, the 2 edge guys,
TJ, Herberger, Highsmith, whoever, yeah.
1 linebacker, and then 5 behind, almost like a 5-1-5.
Yes.
Because one of those guys, usually Ramsey or especially Elliott.
It's like a tweener.
They're going to come down near the box or be around.
And your edge rushers can move too. Like,
yeah.
They're not stiffs.
And you still can play you can still be pretty light and defend the run because you got 300-pounders on the field. You see a lot of 5'1s in the league right now, and I would bet the Steelers ramp that up. And that would be bad for Wilson's playing time.
Yes, it would.
Because Queen's going to out-snap him, I would assume.
Unless all of a sudden somehow Wilson usurps Queen, which certainly would not be impossible.
Yeah.
Wouldn't say it's likely, but not impossible. Top 5 mob movies. Now, see, this is always difficult because, like, what do you consider a mob movie? Like, some people like a mob movie is different than a gangster movie. You know what I mean?
Oh, I see what you're saying.
But I'm going to go full blanket in no particular order. The Departed, Godfather, Goodfellas, Scarface.
Scarface counts. GF 1 and 2 are the top 2, and we're never going to have a discussion about that.
I was just going to kind of lump them into one, but
that's fine. But they're 2 different movies.
They are.
I would say Goodfellas is 3.
Ahead of The Departed?
Yeah.
I would flip-flop those, but I don't think that's I'm not like
Departed's definitely 4 or 5.
and screaming.
Bronx Tale's in the conversation.
Bronx Tale's great. Donnie Brasco's great.
Donnie Brasco counts. Definitely great. We're definitely missing some low-hanging fruits,
we certainly are. I'm sure. You ever seen American Gangster with Denzel and Russell Crowe?
I would say I don't know if that counts because, like you said,
that's more of like a drug dealing movie. But if Scarface counts, that counts.
I mean, because that's not.
That's a good one. That's an underrated one.
It's a great one.
Denzel and Russell Crowe, just
phenomenal,
unbelievable.
Because that's not like it's a gang. That's not a gang movie. That's a mob movie. I mean, he structures his family like the mob did.
That's a good call.
Just because the color of his skin's not Italian.
And because it's not, I was just going to say, just because it's not a Paisan movie, but that is kind of what a lot of people think is like, you gotta have the Paisan in there for it to count. No, I think you're right. I think all those kind of are encompassed in one. That's a good question by Jeff to get us out of here.
Best line in Bronx Tale. The biker.
Now yous can't leave.
Exactly. You just ruined the whole thing for me.
I'm sorry.
No, it's okay.
I'm sorry. I'm sorry. Now yous can't leave. Listen, I was all wound up on Caddyshack yesterday. Cinderella boy.
It's like when the crazy Norsemen come land on your shores. It's like, now you can't leave.
Now you can't leave. Oh, gosh, that's an ugly ponytail. Looks good on you, though. It was a fun show today. We will be off tomorrow.
It's the last one of the week, yeah.
And then we've got some vacation stuff coming up, so the schedule might be a little wonky. The YouTube live videocast might be a little off and on. But again,
sounds like it's unlikely we'll be doing video until after training.
Or maybe no, until are we done with video until after training camp? No, there'll be some time before, right? Like the week or so before.
No.
Okay, so video might be done until a little over a month from now in August.
Yeah.
But again, subscribe wherever you get your podcasts, SNR Drive. Make sure you're obviously listening on the loop on Steelers Nation Radio. While Matt and I might be having some time off here in these next couple weeks ahead of training camp, we're certainly not going quiet until then either. So make sure you're still rocking and rolling with us. But that will do it for us today. Thanks to Mr. TV for producing on the video side. For Matt Williamson, I'm Wes Uhler. Take care, everybody. We'll talk to you soon. As always, you know where to find us. It's on your 24/7 home of the black and gold, Steelers Nation Radio on the Steelers Audio Network.